are really working very hard, and hopefully Congress will come through. You saw what we did yesterday with respect to health care. It's step by step by step. We are going to have great health care in our country. We're taking a little different route than we had hoped, because getting Congress, they forgot what their pledges were. And that was a very big step yesterday. Another big step was taken the day before yesterday. And one by one, it's going to come down, and we're going to have great health care in our country.
Get ready for a comedy goldmine. We're about to show you Jimmy Kimmel's most brutal roast of Trump yet. From Grumpy Trumpy to Donnie Diapers, no nickname is off limits. But that's not all. We'll break down Trump's latest verbal gymnastics, including his claim about saving Obamacare. It's a roller coaster of contradictions that'll leave you laughing, crying, and questioning reality itself. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video.
Obamacare is a disaster. The Democrats are up and they're saying, oh, they're putting up signs like it's wonderful. It's a disaster. Our legislative work starts with repealing and replacing Obamacare and saving families from the catastrophic rise. I actually talked with Paul and the group about just doing nothing for 2 years, and the Dems would come begging to do something, because 17 is going to be catastrophic price increases.
Now is the time for everyone to fasten their seatbelts, because we are about to embark on an exciting journey through the bizarre realm of Trump's views on Obamacare. Do you remember how our orange friend used to complain about Obamacare as if it were the worst thing that had ever happened throughout history? If you want to keep your MAGA hats on, you should know that Trumpy's memory is performing more flips than a circus acrobat. Remember when Trump detested Obamacare more than he loved his own reflection? Let's go back to that time moment. He would never stop raving about how awful it was, and he would even go so far as to say that it was probably the reason he kept having bad hair days. The law would be overturned and replaced in a shorter amount of time than it would take to say kofef. Not even Vegetables or CNN could compare to the punching bag that he considered his favorite.
Let me ask you about Obamacare, which you say you're going to repeal and replace. When you replace it, are you going to make sure that people with preconditions are still covered?
Yes.
And there's going to be a period, if you repeal it and before you replace it, when millions of people could lose.
We're going to do it simultaneously. It'll be just fine. That's what I do. I do a good job. You know, I mean, I know how to do this stuff because it happens to be one of the strongest assets.
You're going to keep that.
Also, with the children living with their parents for an extended period, you're
going to keep
very
that.
much try and keep that. Adds cost, but it's very much something we're going to try and keep.
Wait a second, what exactly is this? Is it out of the blue that our Donnie Diapers is claiming that he rescued Obamacare? Would you believe that his Diet Coke contained truth serum? Observing a goldfish swim in circles is comparable to this, except that the goldfish has very small fins and an orange body. Trump's mind is constantly going around and around, and no one knows where it stops. When it comes to the Oval Office, the number of contradictions is increasing at a rate that is faster than empty Big Mac boxes. Within a single minute, Obamacare is the work of the devil. After that, he will serve as its guardian angel. The experience is comparable to watching a cat chase its own tail, with the exception that the cat is tweeting incoherent phrases at 3 in the morning while wearing a toupee that is not very good. The big conclusion is drawing near, and everyone is wondering whether or not Trump will remember his position by the time he reaches the end of his own sentence. Put your money where your mouth is, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think he will make a faceplant, or will he land in a pool of his own words? Complete bewilderment is the winner. If you please, drum up some excitement. As a result of a tweet from Taco Bell, President Trump's memory is deteriorating at a rate that is faster than his approval ratings. There is, however, more to come. In a turn of events that would make M. Night Shyamalan green with envy, Trump now believes that he was the one who actually created Obamacare. That is indeed the case, folks. Barack Obama, please. The individual who, if you were to see him, would be unable to spell coverage as code, is now asserting that he is the primary inspiration behind the Affordable Care Act. Jimmy Kimmel entered the fray just when you thought that Trump's reversal of position regarding Obamacare could become even more ridiculous. Despite the fact that it was a delicious contradiction sandwich, the late-night presenter couldn't resist eating it. The response that Kimmel gave was absolutely priceless. It is highly likely that he spit out his coffee more quickly than Trump tweets. Despite the fact that our comedy hero served this roast in a short amount of time, I have to say that it was delicious, especially considering the fact that it had crispy burns. The first thing that Kimmel did was demonstrate a video of Trump saying, "I am the one that saved Obamacare." Upon my assumption of power, Obamacare was a total and utter failure. In response to a tweet about a taco bowl, the audience's jaws dropped more quickly than the approval ratings for Trump. On the other hand, Kimmel was just getting warmed up. On Twitter, he engaged in a battle, and he unleashed zingers that were even hotter than Trump's temper. When he made one of his most memorable remarks, the audience erupted in laughter. He said, "Trump saying he saved Obamacare is like saying he invented the hamburger." In all seriousness, that is even more hilarious than Trump's attempt to pronounce the word origins. All of the audience members were stuffing their faces as if they were eating the last piece of pizza at a fast food buffet at the White House. Due to the fact that they were laughing so hard, you might have thought that Kimmel was making fun of them by showing them Trump's tax returns. Whenever Kimmel imitated Trump's inconsistent position on Obamacare, the audience went absolutely crazy. He swayed back and forth like a fish out of water, and the audience went absolutely crazy. In some ways, it was similar to playing a game of political ping pong, but with less skill and more lime. As the laughter in the room began to subside, Kimmel did his best to ratchet up the tension. What could possibly surpass Trump's sense of self-worth? The audience was attentive and leaned in close to every word. Kimmel dropped a hint that maybe Trump will continue by saying that he was the one who invented orange spray tans and Twitter. When Hillary Clinton's emails were brought up at a rally, the audience erupted in applause that was even louder than Trump's. With that being said, the decisive blow had not yet been delivered. After reading Kimmel's most recent remark, the audience had a greater degree of skepticism regarding the reality of the situation than they had after reading Trump's tweets. By implying that Trump might forget his own name next, he skillfully capitalized on the fact that Trump has a tendency to forget his own words. The audience may have been wondering if they had entered a parallel reality that was devoid of consistency and reason, as they were in a state of hysterical laughter. It would appear that our favorite politician with an orange tint is once again in a difficult situation. The experience of discovering a hair in your Big Mac is about as pleasant as President Trump's reaction to Kimmel's jokes. On the other hand, he went into full-on Grumpy Trumpy mode and walked around Mar-a-Lago like a toddler who had just learned that naps are required. Kimmel, who never says no to a joke, made a joke that went something like this: "I haven't seen Trump this mad since someone told him salads exist. How awful. Surely that must be more painful than getting a spray tan by accident." In this comedy showdown, the only thing that has been lost is our shattered faith in logical political discourse. Let's face it, people, this is the only thing that has been lost. America, continue to laugh at yourself. In spite of the fact that it might not solve every problem, it is a much better option than crying. However, it is important to keep in mind that while we are laughing at the circus, we ought to be thinking about the current state of our democracy. In conclusion, despite the fact that laughter is the most effective medicine, it is not capable of treating every condition, particularly chronic flip-floppery behavior.